problem of not having the right matches. Raise of hands, how many of you are at least at the crawl phase where you are just using some of these tools but maybe are not aware of a lot of tools and underlying technologies and don't understand this fully. Only 1% of boys and 17% of girls are able to find someone who's interesting and meets their interest. Let's get started. Sai Kiran, not only lovable dev, all of these 8 are insanely good. Once you go back, you'll be fascinated by what we'll be covering today and each of the tools, how it impacts the productivity of a PM, right? So we'll try to do as much justice as we can to the 3-hour workshop that we have here. And feel free to stop or interject at any point of time wherever you feel disjointed. As I said, we'll not be able to cover the fundamentals of AI, the theories or the concept which are part of anyways cohort learning. It's great to see some of our current cohort members who have also joined in and previous cohort members. Nice to see you Abhishek. And hopefully if there are technical questions that the cohort members have already learned, they'll be able to answer. I have with me also Sushil, who was also a C1 cohort member, and Sushmit as well. Thanks for joining, Sushmit, from the previous cohort. Feel free to address comments of folks. We have 260 odd people. There might be questions around each of these tools, the prompts that we'll be using, how we have written those prompts. So you can augment my capacity by filling in wherever you want, right? And I would recommend have a pen and a paper rather than using your note makers, because what we'll be covering today, these note makers would not be able to capture it part one. And I think learning is one thing that you should not outsource to AI. You can learn AI, but don't outsource your learning itself to AI. And it'll be great to see some of you on camera. I know it's Saturday morning. Some of you might be munching on your breakfast. Some of you might be in your beds. But if there are a few of you who are on camera, at least I can speak to them and I can take their questions. People who are not on their cameras, I'll not be able to take questions because I really don't know how much involved you are into the session. Right. So let's start with that. Everything and anything that we have today is AI, and this is what we'll try to do. We'll cover 8 tools today which will enable the PMs who are there, or in general, if you are in working in tech space, how can you improve the discovery part of your problem? How can you define problem statement with user research using these AI tool? So this is what we'll be covering today, and we'll also be introducing to you to all these tools and how you can leverage them. But before we do that, let's get started with a very simple thing. Today, everything that we talk about is AI. Without AI, any feature is not said to be fancy enough, and even if it's a vanilla coconut oil, it has to be made by AI, and somewhere there has to be a AI touch point. We'll start with a quick quiz sort of a thing where we can gauge the understanding of folks of where you stand in terms of AI, right? You just need to answer in true or false, right? You have seen the Netflix space, and there are multiple pieces of information that gets featured, like the metadata or the trailer, the rows of data that come as the recommendation engine. Do you think this is AI powered or not? True or false?
True.
Okay.
True.
Fantastic. It's great too. I'm just wanting to see people,
True.
how many of you are active and how many of you are participating with us. Great. That's the right answer. It is true. It is AI powered. The algorithm behind it is one of the most traditional deep learning algorithms of weights and parameters. Again, not going into the theory of it, how it covers. This is one of the case studies that is there in the cohort learning. So folks who have attended session one of the cohort know that weights and parameters and how these are defined in for Netflix are already covered. Not touching that because that is not what we are here for. Then WhatsApp chat, just the chat feature. Don't tell me the LLM Llama bot that's introduced here. Is this AI powered or not?
True.
Okay. So I see a lot of no's, a lot of
True.
false.
False.
It's false.
Yeah, there are some who are confused.
False.
Rima Agarwal. Uh, this is not, at least this part of the chat that we interact with one-to-one, that's not AI powered. It's false. It is vanilla chat and a one-to-one conversation. The next one is self-driving cars or Tesla. Is this AI powered or not?
True.
True. True.
Yep.
True.
I see some of you, Akanksha and Sapna, who were there with us in the last week's workshop where we were trying to teach you agent creation. LLM models are the first uh, generative AI piece that came to foray, but in general, agentic AI was pioneered before that. Autonomous agents or the self-driving cars were first proof of concept of that, and they are AI powered. They work on multi-pattern, multimodality of image recognition, and sometimes also machine learning to train the models on. Uh, Alexa, uh, is it AI powered or not?
True.
True.
Okay, I think this is easier. It is AI powered. Let me ask you a slightly tricky one. Does it have generative AI or not? Is AI that is used in Alexa generative AI?
False.
No.
False.
False.
Correct. Yeah. So it works on
False.
natural language processing. It translates text to speech, and that is how it works. Rather than it is AI, but it is not the form of generative AI that we see. And it is great to know that your fundamentals of AI is clear. We are not covering where artificial intelligence fits in and how all of these different parts of the system are broken down. Again, this becomes a part of cohort learning class one. We do cover the theories to get you started because this workshop is targeted for PMs and working professionals who are already in the domain, working on AI on certain things, and want to upskill themselves to become relevant in AI, we would be focusing on the piece of generative AI. So if you see the expansion of this natural language processing into generative AI, these are all the concepts which are there. Text generation, LLMs, and you see some of the tools that we'll be covering today. Two of them, in fact, Claude and Perplexity fall into this category. There is speech and video generation and multimodality that we'll be using with Whistly. I'll just put in the chat the tools that we are covering today so that if you don't have your accounts already, please go ahead and create those accounts. Some of them might need work IDs or professional IDs, so you can use your professional IDs to get that created. Then there is image generation. Again, Whistly is one of that we'll be covering today. You might have seen that. And there are multiple speech recognition, sentiment analysis. We will be doing sentiment analysis as well today on the Play Store rating, right? So with that context, without going much into the depth, as you might have seen, the days that it is taking or the months that it used to take to get the first 100 million users, ChatGPT was very proud of it until 2022 and 2023 that it was able to do it in a 1 month or a 2 months time. But then in January, DeepSeek happened, and we all know what came out of that, right? It just took them a week's time to get to 100 million users, and that is the pace, that is the relevance of AI in general. Why we are presenting this to you is to for you to understand, hey, it is one of those things where you definitely need to get upskilled on and get upskilled on very fast, at least both in terms of what tools can you use to be a more productive PM, and also as a PM, if you're working on these technology, which is say GPT, what forms the generative part of it, what is the pre-training model, and how is the transformer used to solve your applications better than the traditional SaaS solutions or the API that we had, right? Again, not just skimming through these slides, not covering the theory because that is part of cohort learning, and some of you are already in cohort, so I want to be respectful for those who really are very vanilla on GPT, transformer, LLL architecture, machine learning, deep learning, and how all of these building blocks come together. Feel free to reach out to Sakshi. She's on the chat. You can get enrolled into the next cohort so that you can cover the fundamentals, and then all of these can come together. For PMs who are already working on this, you might have seen or you might have read or upskilled yourself on generative AI systems, the self-attestation mechanism, or predicting the next token, which is what LLMs do. So just give a refresher of that because that all of those concepts will come in handy when we cover the concepts in class today. So we'll be right now we are here. This is what generative AI PMs is. We are expecting that in your life you are at least using Chat GPT, Perplexity, Claude, any one of these tools, and doing some research. So can we show a uh, raise of hands? How many of you are at least at the crawl phase where you are just using some of these tools, but maybe are not aware of a lot of tools and underlying technologies and don't understand this fully? Like, I know I'm using ChatGPT, but how can I be a productive PM? Or how can I crack the roles of an AI PM which are being opened in the top tech companies? It's a combination of both. I use tools, but I don't know how to get upskilled. So just seeing how many of you are listening in, are following with us. Fantastic. So I think at least 40 to 50 people are there who are using these. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much for raising that. And this is the gap that we want to bridge today, right? You use the free Gen AI tools today, and you some of those use cases are clear to you. Some of the use cases might not be clear to you, and for you to go from crawl to walk to run, you have to understand how these tools work. You have to build your own agents. I think last week we covered in the agentic workshop also that modern portfolios are not about writing PRDs or creating decks or doing your work as Figmas. It's all about creating real tools and creating real agents for PMs. When you apply to a AI PM role, I would love to see an application which is actually working and which is end to end built with generative AI, right? Rather than just showing something on PPT, and that is what we are here for. We can give you multiple tools. We want you to take you to the walk stage where you can use these tools at tool at an enterprise level. You can make your decisions faster. And if you are a PM who's spending 7 days on any of one of these stages, we want you to do that in a couple of hours so that you can spend the rest of your time on productivity. Run part of it, which is building actual applications and deploying, can happen in two ways. One way is in your company, you might be working on AI applications, you might be upskilling, you might be developing these solutions. Or if you're not doing that, the best way to do it is building some capstone projects or building some live projects. And next week, we will have our capstone demo day where our cohort members would be showing what agents they have built and how you can build them. So if you are not having that opportunity on your role currently to build AI true applications in the run phase, feel free to join the cohort and then build some of the applications with like-minded PMs, right? So we'll do the case study now. I'll introduce you to the case study. But before that, I think let's just quickly look at what are the stages that a PM goes through. And since this audience is targeted towards PMs who are already working, you might have all gone through these 4 phases of discover, define, and these are called the 4 Ds of PM, right? Discovering what is the problem that needs to be solved, then defining what exactly is the problem that I'm solving for, doing the prototyping and developing the tool, and then finally delivering it to the user to get their feedback, right? And this is from one of the LinkedIn influencer survey that today, without AI, it takes almost 21 days to do the discovery, competitor analysis, industry analysis, benchmarking. Then for defining the problem statement, narrowing down user research, going and doing the app store review, ratings, all of that, it takes another 7 days. To develop the actual product, to build a prototype or build the actual product, roll it out, it takes another again 30 days for 2 PMs. And post delivery tracking the success of it is again something which goes upwards of uh, the time for almost 2 months for 2 PMs. In this workshop, we will try to do all 4 of them, and within 2 hours, we will again be touching the surface level area of all these tools, how we are planning to go about it. But uh, we will explain you how can you spend more time in refining each of these workflows for yourself, right? And this is the case study that we want. So, and then it's a very traditional problem that we might have, people who might have used dating apps or might have heard from them, is this problem of not having the right matches. So we will be assuming that Hermione is our product manager and Harry is a 25-year-old person who lives in Bangalore, right? He has just started his career in sales analyst and he's looking to meet people, interesting people for say long-term relationship or going out. But the problem that he faces, and when he comes back to Hermione and says, is that only 1% of boys and 17% of girls are able to find someone who's interesting and meets their interest, right? And the idea of the traditional existing dating apps, say Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, is not really working out for them. So Hermione, let's assume, is working with Tinder, and she has this problem statement of matching profiles not happening, and it's a very high level thing, right? How should she go about it? How should she tackle this? And the first space of this problem itself is how to do the discovery of the market, right? What exactly is happening and how do you go about it? What is the market? What is the competition doing? What are the problem statement that people are facing with? So in the discovery part of it, just a random thought, how would you go ahead and do the competitor research or discovery of it? And analyze if this problem is even worth solving for. What are the tools that you use today? Some of the tools, if you can just let us know. Anyone? You can just put it in the chat. Okay, Chat GPT, Perplexity Research. Okay, Perplexity again. Abhishek Banerjee, thanks. This is good because folks from the class, Abhishek, you have been part of the court. So yeah, AI agents for PMs, Mistral AI, Chat GPT. Okay, so let's try to do that. And those of you who don't have, I'll stop sharing and I'll share my entire screen so that we can. And this is the document that we have. So we'll start with the Perplexity research, right? And I'll put the link to this tool in chat. So those of you who haven't created your accounts, please go ahead and create it. Now, another thing that we will do is we will not. So I want to do the market analysis. I want to understand the target persona and pain points, right? I want to understand the key metrics that we can move and what is the revenue potential, what are the risks and AI integration opportunities that might be there to solve this problem. And this prompt was all written using Claude, and I can show you the historical thing of my Claude. So if you see, I have written this feasibility of new launching app, and I have used help me write a prompt for deep research, and you can try this one in your chat as well. So I'll just paste this in the chat so that it gives you this prompt. If you want to generate prompt yourself, if you just want to follow along with us, let me share this entire prompt with you. And in fact, let me see if I can share the document itself with you, because this will have all the links. Let me just and let's not make you editors. Let's just. Okay, so you can copy the prompt from here, but only till the differentiation strategy, right? Let's try to add this entire prompt, and I'll go to my Perplexity, and I've already run this. So on your Perplexity, go to home. You would see this view of auto, pro, reasoning, and deep research. Those of you who have been following this space closely would understand deep research is a augmented research capability tool, right? This helps you search and cite multiple resources that might be there on internet, and it gives you a consolidated report in the format that you want. I will just paste this entire prompt that I have written, and I will run the deep research on this. I will also share this document link with you so that you can copy paste the prompt and also run on your machine. So let me. Yes. So this is the skill, Sushmit. So when we teach it in our cohort, prompt engineering is one of the skills that you need to know. You might just write this level of prompt, right? And it is not very detailed. You ask Claude to write a prompt for you, how to do market analysis, age distribution, education, income levels, cultural preferences, what are the key metrics. All of this is covered as part of the formatting, the CoStar framework, how to write a prompt in a format which gives you the most active output is something that we cover as part of the cohort learning. We are not teaching that here because it'll most of you who are cohort members already know it, and plus there are some others who might have learned it on their company. So we are not um, doing that here. But once you know this skill, you can write this detailed prompt. And if you see it is doing chain of thought reasoning where it is saying, okay, I get, you can also put this notify me when the deep research is done, it will send you a desktop notification. I found some initial thoughts and dating landscape in India, including these are the resources that it is having. It is reading. It will take a couple of minutes time to generate the response. I'll come back to the chat and ask folks if you are able to do this with me. Yes, there is difference in Perplexity and ChatGPT. We will be covering that, Sapna, and we will talk about that. What is the difference in the deep research methodology? And generally, deep research, Sushmit, is a concept which, if you see in this, it is chain of thought and multi-headed thought-provoking system where it first looks at all the resources. It tries to augment, it tries to take action. Okay, if I read this first one, what should I do next? And also look at the intent of the prompt. What exactly is the user trying to do? So in the prompt, I have just to run you through the prompt. If you see, I have clearly written research the current dating market landscape in India. Who are the major players and what are their market share, user base growth trajectory in the last year? What cultural factor influence dating in India and to the Western market. So for India, very specifically, I have asked it to do detailed breakdown. Now the prompt will look at this and it will keep refining its search. What we had traditionally in the chat GPT or Perplexity search was one shot search where it was not doing reasoning on top of what it is finding. This is the entire reasoning that it has done. This is the difference between deep search and traditional search. The basis this reasoning and it gives you the reasoning. I found some initial thoughts, then I found some substantial information, right? From this information, I was able to find some relevant information indicating this. I have gathered cultural facts. I've included the pain points, key metrics, revenue models, risk. Now I need to structure this into section and starting with an overview, and I will give you the research report. So this is the research report that it has generated. Let's just take a minute and read this, right? So it gives me the number that is world's fastest growing digital sector. There are 20 million people, which is the overall landscape. The tough challenge persists around gender imbalance, and that is the problem of Harry also, right? 90% are male users, while players like dominate in metropolitan areas. So target city is fine, and revenue projected is 783 million. It says that there is gender imbalance of 98%. So 90% are males, 10% are female. There are safety risks, there are regulatory risks. Let's see what are the global market shares, or which Tinder maintains their market leadership with this, right? And then there are other rise of homegrown challenges. These are some domestic companies which are coming. Marriage minded professionals, I'll, this is their subscription. Quack Quack, this is Flutter. And if you see cultural nuances, I think this is the most important one, right? I asked it what are the cultural nuances that make this a good um, fit. So when people are meeting on Flutter, 34% users enable family background, right? And 19% use horoscope matching. This is a very cultural nuance that you might need to read multiple reports to get an understanding of. This is exactly what is influencing the dating behavior in India. We would not think of this as top of mind, right? And 72% users state marriage intent in their profiles. Generally, when you and we will do some data analysis also. So on their profiles, at least people are saying that I want to find someone for marriage, but when they actually start dating or when they actually start using that, what is their intent that they are having? And this they have given that there is 9 to 1 male is to female ratio, right? Women receive 23 matches per day and men receive 1.2. Now this is also a data point, right? It augments clearly to what we were showing here, where Harry said, hey, I have 1% chance of finding someone and the females have 17% chance. This is exactly what data this has also given. And women receive 58% of email report harassment incident. This is not good, right? This is not great. This is the adoption rate for monthly active users for Bumble, Flutter, and 68% are female users, and then Truly Madly 89% users. This is the target audience. I've asked the demographics. I should be targeting college educated, earning 8 lakhs more than a year, and 44% use premium features. So there is propensity or willingness of people to pay as well, right? There are this pricing model. What is Tinder Gold? This is the pricing range. What is Quack Quack VIP? What is Chamit virtual dating? Sorry if I'm pronouncing it right. Never used any of these. So branded safety concerns. Okay. So now if we see, one of the problems is low click-through rate, and we have also seen problems are around uh, 58% women report harassment. Plus, the biggest problem that Harry came to us with was, I am not able to find matches. I am sitting on this platform for some time and I'm getting some fake profiles, right? And this is marriage minded, and it has created 3 personas for you: metro professional, non metro aspirers, and marriage minded people. You might pick any one of them. Now, the idea with this holistic report, and you can download this directly, right? You can export this as a PDF and keep this handy for the research that you'll be doing going forward. I have already stored this in my chat. I've saved this as deep research perplexity, and you can also keep a copy of this because we'll be using this as we go forward. Now the problem with this entire data set is what I'll be covering as the second part of this, which is this data true? And if this data is not true, then what is hallucination in this, and how do I do fact checking on this, right? This is one of the biggest problems when you rely on deep research of these platforms. Can you share the prompt? Okay, Let me share the document link again so that you can copy paste the prompt from here. So Julie, I'm sharing this in the chat. And okay, so it's Karthik is also saying this is not true. Yes, so it would take months and months to do that, this sort of research, right? Let us try to see how can we validate if this is true or not. So I've downloaded this as a PDF. Now I'll again go into my Claude. I will say now write another prompt for me to see the validity of this response generated, flag hallucination biases, and create a document for potential risks. Right. So I asked it to write a prompt for me for evaluating this in depth. And again, not covering this because prompt engineering or prompt writing it in the CoStar framework is something that we do as the cohort learning. But you see, it has generated such a nice prompt for me that it has told me for data verification, verify against credible sources, flag any figures that are not lacking citation, identify estimates are extrapolated correctly or not. Source quality, what sources are you referring? Are those sources also right or not, right? Somebody might have created a fake website and that data might be fake. Is there a bias? Is there a Western centricity assumption? Is there metropolitan bias? Is there tier one city bias? And is there a gender bias, most importantly? Then cross reference. Look at data one and look at data two, look at the company data and see if any form of cross referencing is done and a is equal to B and B is equal to C. So A is equal to C, transitivity is established or not. Call that out. Detect hallucination. I'm asking AI itself to do all of this for me because they know what sort of hallucination are there. Cited but non-existent studies, right? Unrealistic market size. Present speculative future trends which are just speculations, and then risk the document. Data integrity risks, market assessment risk, cultural analysis risk, competitive risk, regulatory risk, and the reporting format should be this: confidence level, supporting evidence, alternative interpretations, and specific gaps. You can again copy paste this prompt, and if you want to just copy paste from this document, you might see this. I have already pasted this in the second half. Evaluate validating the data research, right? So this entire prompt I'll just copy paste. Now what I'm doing is I'm validating if whatever I've got is right or not. Right. So I've copy pasted this, I've copied this, and let's go create another chat. I'd say okay, I'll attach the PDF that I saved for the attached document. And let's do the deep research on this again. Now, this is where it gets tricky. So this is what we generally do wrong. Rather than asking Perplexity itself to validate, I would go ahead and ask a chat GPT to validate this for me. So what I've done is I've already run this in chat GPT. I went ahead and I say, hey, for data verification, can you run this entire prompt for the document that I've uploaded, right? And if you see, it says market projected data of 783 billion. It is needs verification from Statistica and these sensor tower. I'll tell you some interesting bits which I found really fascinating, right? There is an urban bias, emphasis on this with limited rural and small city user behavior analysis. There is a Western bias. There is a gender bias. Focus on male dominated user base lacks in deep depth female perspective on the platform. And there is technological bias also in that response, right? Academic studies on relationship dynamics is not there. What are cross references that are missing? Cultural sociological analysis it has done. Plus it has detected hallucination. See, needs explicit supporting data. 70% non-metro users are using it. There is no data. Projected market size, future trends. This looks as an hallucination. And it tells you what can you do to go ahead and make this research better. Recommended action: obtain industry reports from this, cross check the claims with Indian digital behavior studies, and conduct primary survey interviews in tier 2 tier 3 city, because this data looks heavy for tier 1 cities, right? So this exercise you need to do on multiple platforms before you present your report to your leadership and your industry, saying that, hey, I have done deep research, I have validated with Perplexity, but with ChatGPT I wrote this prompt and I was able to find out what are the lacking factors in this outdated market leader analysis, shift in top companies, chat temps rise, lacks continuous tracking. So it is not able to say which are the latest players. Maybe Chamets is the latest dating platform, which it is not able to pick up. Like specific cases are not fully documented where harassment lawsuits have been called out, but exactly what they are and how these platforms are tackling it is not covered. Right. First part, as I said, generate your deep research documentation in 45 minutes. Second, run it through all the data analysis, hallucination, bias detection, cross-referencing, and how can you mitigate those risks, right? Can we do a thumbs up or can we show an emoji to let me know if you are able to do this much so far? So with us, can we see a reaction of thumbs up, please? If it was making sense, if you're able to get value out of it. Again, how to write the right prompts, how to understand what all we have covered, right? And how do I understand that I have to talk about risk documentation, sources, data verification, biases, hallucination? Don't worry, we already cover these part of responsible AI training that we do in the cohort. So we will be covering that. But we have given you these biases. If you're just wanting to go ahead and use these tools in your company, right? You can directly go ahead and start using it. Fantastic. So that was part one of our discover phase. We were trying to discover the problem. We were trying to do the market analysis, right? And let me become happy that we have covered this part. Now let's go to the second one, right? Let's keep going. And the second one for the discover part generally is understanding your competitors, right? When I say understanding your competitors, let's say for Tinder, the competition, or if you're even designing a new product, right? Bumble, Hinge, one of these might be the platforms. And for me to identify the real problem which is there underlying, I would need to go and either read its company financial reports or customer reviews. I can go to consumer forums, and these are all the things that you might already be doing as PMs in your role, right? So how can I find the voice of customer? How can I? So I've done my secondary research. Before I go ahead and do my surveys with the real users, there is this place where I can actually get the voice of customer, which is App Store. Generally, App Store is seen as a source where most of the resources uh, are authentic in terms of what users really want. So uh, disheartened users, sad users, happy users. Happy users, I've realized, come less often to leave their feedback on Play Store. But whatever problems user face, they are definitely able to put that out on Play Store with a fascinating rating of 1 star or 2 star, right? So we will go ahead and then now give you another tool, which is Appbot. This is the tool. I will share this in the chat again, and we have shared the list of these tools already, right? So, and if you are on this deck or if you are using this document working with us, you can see the list of all the tools here. This is the Appbot tool that you can. We have done the deep search tool. Now we are on the Appbot. So we will go ahead and use Appbot. What is Appbot? Those of you have already created the account, you might um, you might be seeing something.
It's a tool through which whatever ratings and reviews we get
Yep,
from Apple
yep.
Store,
I'll
that is
try to do
stored
that.
there.
Let's not interrupt the flow. I'll try to explain that. Thanks, Sapna, for jumping in, but we'll try to explain that as much as we can. So if you are setting this up for the first time, you will be seeing um, you'll be seeing this screen, right? You'll be seeing this screen. So this is the landing page. Now I can fetch all the user research or the user review data all with a single click from any of these platforms, be it Microsoft Marketplace or MacBook OS Marketplace, iOS App Store, Market Store, Xbox Games Review from their console box, right? So we'll go ahead and just select Google Play here because I'm trying to add that. And now to you can either search the competitor Bumble, or if you really want to give it the exact location, we have already given you the Play Store locations here, right? You can pick that up and you can just copy paste it and add it here and then click search. So it has brought all the apps that are there. I've already added Tinder as a source because it takes time to generate those reviews. So for my company, I've already added it. Let me select India here because I want to look only for India. And it is in parallel. If you can see, it also gives you iOS apps, right? So it is Bumble. I will add this as a source. I want to fetch all the data for this, and then I will click finished. So once I click finished, it will start showing you this as a source, right? And you just need to click on this. It opens up. You can select the timeline here, right? For which timeline are you looking at this data? And it gives you everything, all the analysis that PMs might be doing months on Power BI dashboards or Tableau or taking Excel dump, trying to write queries on this. See the power of this. It has all the reviews, right? It has all the ratings. If you right, it has all the ratings and how has the ratings grown over time in the same time zone. The best part that we are looking for today is the sentiment, right? So we are trying to identify the problems. It also has words, phrases, we'll cover to come to that. But I want to see all the negative uh, sentiment which is there. So I will just click on this negative, and these all of the dashboards are now only showing negative views. So one and two and three, these are the ratings where negative things have come. And I can read the comments. You need to spend money in order to match with someone, such a waste, right? This is passionate, bad. It is also doing translations for you if it is in another language. Watch me get a bot comment for this. UI is good, and that's about it. Another predatory app get like a, and see, buy subscription waste of time. So apparently on Bumble, money looks like a problem. For the past month, it's always says there's a glitch. I have uninstalled, reinstalled. I can, as a PM, I can spend time reading all of this. Or what I can do is I can go and look at the word map. What are the words that people are generally complaining about? Just go to words and see it creates a fascinating word map view of what are all the keywords that people are complaining about. Let's see, it'll generate that. So just see this. Match, profile match, premium money people pay. This is what people are complaining about. So matching with the profile is a problem, right? And premium money is a problem. You can also look at phrases, right? What phrases are generally being used by people? What are they complaining about? So this is our competitor research. We are now in we know if I am a PM for Bumble, I have to solve for matching of profiles and the premium payment fees is looking bad. If I look at my, see this, now let's look at the phrases. Fake profiles. This is the top mention. I am without paying get matches, even though swipe right. These fake profile is the biggest term here. Now let me go and select my source of Tinder, which is my company. Either you can select it from here, or you can again go back to your manage sources and let me select my own product, which is Tinder. For Tinder also, if you see, I'll first select the negative sentiment so that I know, okay, I want to do just the negative sentiment analysis. And in the negative sentiment analysis, let us look at the top words and phrases. What are the words that people are generally complaining about? Okay, profile match, profile pagar, these are the words. Let's see. Profile pay, money, gold, band, personas. Okay, fake, delete. So fake profile was there also, and fake accounts matching profile was a problem there also. Let's look at the phrases, what people are in the recent types complaining about. And you can see the positive words as well in green. If you just select the positive top feedbacks, you can do that analysis as well. So let's see what phrases it is covering. Again, fake profile is at the top, got banned, fake accounts, customer service, many fake. So, okay, fake profiles look like a genuine concern here, right? And that is what we should be solving for. I have some hypothesis now that I want to go back, talk to my team. I know the market research that I've done on DeepSeek, right? and I know the data that it is there. Now I can augment this with fake profile data, and I will take a screenshot of just this and all the words that are there. We will go ahead. So the discovery part of it is done.
Can
Can
you hear
you
me?
please
Sorry,
show? We'll stop for Q&A. We'll stop for Q&A.
yeah, it's
So
not Q&A exactly.
yeah,
It's just something that I want to highlight over here. On Appbot, you had when you were adding your sources for your app, you had mentioned the location, right? Which was
yeah,
for India. But I can
yeah,
see that a lot of words on the word map are Spanish. Like
yeah. You
there
can
was
filter that
problem.
out. You can filter that out. So
So
listing
can
of
you
the product
filter
being
out?
okay. So
Yeah, yeah.
product
Please
being
continue.
listed on App Store does not mean it's exclusively listed for India. Product being available in India, that is the filter that we have applied. And a good question. You can break it
No,
down by
just
geography.
concern-
Yeah.
yeah, concern with the product is if we are adding the source of the app as India, right? Then the word mapping, everything should be with
No, no,
context
the
to India.
listing is in India. The listing of app. So if you see the listing, the language preference, let me go back and see here. This listing is IN. Listing on Play Store, people who are working as app product managers might know this is a Google Play setting where, see, if a product is created and hosted, like it's Bumble is a European product, but it is listed in India. That is the URL we took. It will not do the data analysis only on that. You can apply the filter for Indian specific region and see the reviews there. And users accounts where they're created would be another thing that you would want to apply it. Listing of the product would be in your country, but it is a global product and it will show you all the things that are there, right? And you can always, if the best part is you can always export this data using Excel just to show you the sentiment analysis data as well. Just filter out by negatives, right? Just export this data, right? And then you can always filter out by who your users are here. Now with these two steps done, 1 and 2, right? We have done Perplexity, and let me also put a smiley on this one so that this is also covered. We understand at least the discovery part of the problem. What exactly is this? And we will proceed with actually doing some customer research, customer review. See, and this is just a data for understanding where the problem lies. You cannot discover your problem without actually talking to the users. So you have to talk to the users, do a survey, do a interview, or do a focus group discussion, collate that data, come up with a problem statement from there. So that is the next part of define, right? We'll define the problem statement now. We'll do a survey and we'll proceed with that. But I think we are at a 1 hour mark, and you guys can continue to try Appbot.